I live in the small town of Freedom, Pennsylvania. And just like the song says, freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose.
Hey, Beth. Looking nice, Beth.
Seems like everyone I know lives paycheck to paycheck.
Beth, honey, I'm a little strapped. Do you think I could borrow some money?
Really, Robert?
What? What's her problem?
People find different ways to numb their pain. Whether it's drinking, sex, tequila, neat, or something slightly illegal. Folks here might be a little rough around the edges, but I never thought any of them were capable of murder. My murder. My name is Beth Grosskopf, and in a few weeks, I'll be dead.
Oh, man.
What are you doing? Living in one small town your entire life can have some advantages. You get to know your neighbors and they get to know you. Everybody looks out for everybody else. But sometimes, being an introvert, even one with a live-in boyfriend, can leave me feeling adrift.
Beth was my neighbor for years. She was a homebody and loved to sit in the back and read her books.
Growing up, Aunt Beth was more like a big sister to my cousins and I. I used to go spend weekends at her house. She was one of the girls. She became like a mother hen to adults. If Grandmom needed anything, Aunt Beth was right there. It's like she wanted to take care of the people that took care of her.
Taking in strays always seemed like my calling. But you have to have somewhere to put them. 4 years into our relationship, my boyfriend, Rob Campbell, and I finally move into a home of our own. Or more accurately, a home of my own.
Robert and Beth decided to buy a house in Freedom. However, Robert didn't have the credit history to be able to get a mortgage. It had to be put in Beth's name, so Beth ended up buying the house.
I think that's when our problems really began.
Robert was left off of the title. That could be considered emasculating to not be the one to be the financial driver of the relationship.
Come on, baby. It was a dream come true. Paid for with extra overtime shifts at the local co-op. Five years later, and Robert Campbell is still the love of my life.
Want a beer?
Yeah. The charming rogue who had spent some time in a local jail for stealing cars when he was a teen. In many ways, he never grew up.
Hey.
I guess I just like taking care of people.
Thanks. We're having a little party later. Oh, did I forget to tell you?
Wow, thanks for inviting me.
Well, it is at your place.
Well, Beth worked. He partied. If she worked the morning shift, his friends came in the morning. If she worked the afternoon shift, his friends came.
Don't give me that look.
It's great. I'm sure it'll be fun.
That's the spirit.
Beth's relationship with Robert Campbell was somewhat tumultuous. Rob had a temper and everyone knew it.
We all bring our history with us into any relationship, but Robert's history Includes friends he met in jail.
Come on.
The kind of guys arrested for petty theft or smoking a joint.
Fast? How are you faster?
Rob didn't work.
Boom! I win. How? Yeah, you just gotta be.
He says, I keep house, I do the cooking, and Beth likes it that way. I says, really? I says, she likes you being home? He says, yep.
Hey, Beth girl. Hey, you wanna come join?
No, you guys are too loud. I have to work in the AM. Crank it down to 11.
Ben Dennerlein was a friend of Rob's. They had actually met each other while incarcerated together in our local jail. Because he was a friend of Rob's, he became a friend of hers.
Where's your better half, Colleen? Kick you out again, huh?
Oh, busted.
Hey, hon, can I talk to you for a sec?
Benjamin Dennerlein had a history of some drug activity, had a history of some criminal offenses. The smaller cases, not major crimes.
I am sick and tired of fighting with you about this. I need sleep. I have to work tomorrow.
I work too, just because I don't have a paycheck.
That's not the point. Get rid of Ben right now.
He's got nowhere to go. I told him he could crash for the
I'm
night.
done, Robert. Done. He can get a motel.
Fine. Kick him out while he's down.
Ben.
You see? See what you've done now?
Eventually, Robert became more violent to Beth, so there was a little bit of a history there.
Rob, he was always friendly to the neighbors, but behind closed doors, Rob was another person.
I'm no pushover. But then I don't like to stir up trouble either. But sometimes, trouble has a way of finding you.
Hey. You Beth?
Yes?
I'm Kelly Carter, one of Ben's friends.
Kelly Carter was an interesting character. He'd had some scrapes with the law. He had a little bit of violence in his temperament.
What can I do for you?
Just waiting for Ben.
Well, Ben isn't here anymore. He stormed off last night. I don't know where.
Kelly is a big guy, known for barroom brawls and back alley punch-ups. Ugh, but what really makes my skin crawl is he never seems to take his eyes off me.
Well, damn.
Kelly Carter was somebody that Ben Dennerlein was friends with.
We had a business transaction.
Well, if I see him, I'll tell him you're looking for him.
He was kind of a big, intimidating guy. Beth maybe didn't really want him there, but it was not within Beth's nature to tell people no.
Another party. With Rob as host and me as cook, waitress, and bottle washer. I'm starting to wonder if this relationship is really worth it.
Hey.
Ben, Colleen, what, you guys back together?
He's like a bad penny. Always turning up.
Bobby, the house is looking nice.
Thanks.
I would kill for a place like this.
Well, then I'll lock up the knives.
Colleen Cantella was Ben Dennerlein's girlfriend. Even though Colleen had thrown Ben out of the house, she still didn't completely sever the relationship. The two would occasionally hang out together.
Okay, everyone, dinner is served. All the food is right here. Just let me know if you need anything.
Sorry, honey. I didn't mean to frighten you.
That's okay.
I'm Karen. Robert kindly invited me to your soiree.
Karen. Oh, you beat me to it. Beth, this is Karen.
Hi.
I wasn't sure if you're gonna make it.
Rob went to the bar. I don't know if it was darts or what they played, and evidently he met another woman.
Hi, you guys. Thanks for coming.
In her eyes, it was the love of her life. But what kind of life did she really have with Rob? Rob used Beth.
I'd hoped that Rob would be my anchor, but he's really more of a millstone. He's certainly a liar and a cheat. Makes me wonder, What else is he capable of? With my beloved mother gone and the love of my life with another woman, the only thing I feel is profound heartache.
I'm truly sorry, Beth. It didn't have to be this way.
You kind of did, though.
So you hate me now?
Sometimes. You better go.
Yeah. You take care of yourself, Beth Grosskopf. I'll see you soon.
She had lost her mother, and then her sister got very sick and passed. Beth really didn't have anybody else in her life.
Come on, Holly.
Except for Rob.
Robert and Karen quickly marry. And I am left alone, which can lead to all kinds of bad decisions. And maybe my worst is not letting go.
Hey. Robert Campbell, even though he was no longer living with Beth and he and Karen were married, he and Beth still carried on a very close relationship. He would go to the house several times a week.
I heard about your sister.
Oh.
How you holding up?
Not great, but better than yesterday.
And I think Beth thought that he was coming back. It was one of his kicks, I guess, that some of these guys do.
Come on, we can do that again. Hey.
Hey. Oh, hi, Beth.
Hey, Karen.
Karen Babbage would accompany Robert Campbell at times when he tended on seeing Beth. Well, Miss Babbage and Mr. Campbell would both go to her residence together from time to time to check on her and do whatever Mr. Campbell needed to do for her.
So, Beth, I understand you guys bought the house together, but it's just in your name.
My credit would have held up the paperwork.
Yeah, but you still paid part of the down payment and some of the mortgage, right? Don't you think maybe it's time to put Robert on the deed?
You know what? I'll consider it tomorrow.
I said, why would you leave Rob anything? I says, no, don't you dare sign that paper. If anything happened to Beth, Rob would have the house and that.
I guess I should have gotten the hint. Karen really wants a piece of my house. But what she does just a few days later is beyond anything I expect.
Are you sure about this?
It'll be fine, babe. I'll just sign for it.
Karen drew up paperwork to have Robert added to Beth's deed on the house. She was a notary, so she was able to process paperwork. She forged Beth's signature and put the paperwork through.
Bobby Campbell becomes half owner in that house.
What the hell is this?
Beth found out that the paperwork had gone through and been processed when she got a notification about the change on her mortgage.
You said it was okay, Beth.
I said I would think about it.
He should have been on there in the first place. You treat him like a child.
This is fraud, Robert. Do you want to go back to jail? Do you?
Don't worry, babe. The only way you're going back to jail is over somebody's dead body.
Karen Babbage handled the paperwork. The obligations she had as a duty to being a notary was violated. It appears there was intentions to defraud Miss Grosskopf of a residence for Mr. Campbell's purpose.
I think Beth was upset about that because she didn't know what was going on, but she also never made any move to change that or undo what had been done.
I have no one in my life. So when Robert suggests that his buddy, Ben Dennerlein, needs a place to stay, I leap at the chance. It doesn't hurt that he's easy on the eyes.
Thanks. So, Colleen and I got in a fight, and she kicked me out. Again. And I was gonna go over to Robert and Karen's, but I just feel like a third wheel there.
So you thought, why not hit up Beth? She always takes in strays.
Well, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be like a permanent situation. And I'd pay rent.
All right. Let's do it. For $50 a week, due at the beginning of every week.
Deal.
Ben Dennerlein did have an ex-girlfriend, sort of continued girlfriend, with Colleen Cantella. And Colleen, she threw Ben out when she found out that he had stole money from her.
The nature of their relationship is up for debate, but he was at her home, he slept there, he was a roommate, so she trusts him a great deal.
It's been a week, but this is the last of my crap.
Well, when you're done, take a break. I've made us some hot chocolate.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Thank you, Beth.
Hi, Kelly. Can I help you?
I'm here for Ben.
He'll be down in a sec. Anything I can help with?
Maybe.
Kelly Carter was interesting because Kelly Carter is a guy that if something had gone wrong, there was a good possibility he was the one that caused it.
Is that car for sale?
Well, you want my car?
What do you need it for? You walk to work, plus you never go anywhere.
How do you know what I do? Answer me, Kelly. Are you following me around, or?
Oh, hey, man. Hey, you leave my landlady alone, okay? What, are you trying to get me kicked out before I even get to move in? Hey, you want a beer?
Oh, yeah.
One thing I didn't consider if I let Ben move in is that I'd be seeing a lot more of Kelly. $50 a week doesn't seem like enough.
Hello? What? No, I did not make those purchases. Someone must have stolen my identity.
Ben Dennerlein was someone who tended to use the women he was with and steal money from them.
Thanks for letting me know.
Initially, Beth thought that her debit card had never left her purse because it was there when she went to sleep, it was there when she woke up, and then at some point in time, she put the pieces together and realized that Ben was taking her card while she was asleep.
Oh, Jesus, Beth, you scared me.
Someone stole my debit card while I was sleeping.
Really? Oh, that's awful. Wait, you think I stole it?
If the shoe fits, Ben!
What? Hey, what? I bought all that stuff with my own money!
What money? You're late on rent. You can't afford $50 a week. You're out.
I've got nowhere else to go!
That is not my problem.
After a lifetime of taking in strays, I'm finally alone. But I only have days to enjoy it. Soon, I'll be dead. I've given Ben a few days to get his stuff out of my house.
I'm back.
But just because I'm nice enough to give him a grace period doesn't mean this isn't happening.
You opened this? It was addressed to me.
Oh, man. Oh, I guess you better kick me out, huh? Oh, wait.
My mom's cabin sold.
Beth's mother had passed away, and the cottage had belonged to her parents. So she inherited approximately $31,000.
$31,000.
What are you gonna do with it, Beth?
I don't know.
$31,000.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Cha-ching, cha-ching! I'm still on her life insurance and her pension as a beneficiary.
Robert, he and his current wife were sitting at the table. At some point during this evening, one witness who worked at a local bar establishment claimed Mr. Campbell was on and off his phone, and they believe they overheard him make some sort of comment or gesture on the phone about cha-ching, meaning money. That night, Campbell and his wife were waiting at this bar for Miss Grosskopf to come by.
You mind if I join? Hey, this round's on me. I'll have a tequila shot and whatever they want.
Since when did your pockets get so deep?
Since today. I came into some inheritance.
What are you gonna do with all that money?
Everyone just keeps asking me that.
It's very sad that somebody like Elizabeth, who worked hard every day, and she finally gets a good thing and is going to inherit legitimately $30,000+. And that ended up being the cause of her death.
For your good.
For once, something is going right. I see a light at the end of a long tunnel that is my life. How could I know that it's a runaway freight train heading straight for me?
To come down, to come home. I can't make it on my own. That old mystery, that blood inside, was snuffed out. Oh, why?
Going to bed that night, I think that $31,000 is going to change my life forever. And I am right.
It was a little bit in the afternoon.
Robert.
Pat, I need you to come with me. I need to show you something.
Rob, he says, Pat, you gotta come over. I gotta show you this. I gotta show you this.
Please come with me.
And I said, what do you want to show me? Just come. And he says, you gotta come in here, because I don't usually go in the house.
I couldn't find Beth, but I found this.
Call 911.
And he said, look at all this blood. And I'm sitting there shocked.
Hello, 911?
Yeah.
I have a situation. I showed up here this morning, and there was a big blood stain on the bed where her head should be sleeping. And she is not here. I cannot find her. She is not at work, and the car is gone.
They say the killer always returns to the scene of the crime. Is Robert really concerned for me? Or is he trying to cover his tracks?
Okay, you gotta slow down. Slow down.
I showed up here this morning, and there was nobody here. She's not here. And there was a big blood stain on the bed where her head should be sleeping. And she is not here. I cannot find her. She is not at work. And the car is gone.
It was late in the afternoon, and I received a call at the Detective Bureau that they had a man who was reporting his friend had disappeared. And then when the friend went in the house, he found blood, and he found blood in her bed.
First thing that happened was we did a complete check and cursory of the residence from bottom to top.
Looks like there's fresh scrapes in the floor. I think this was just moved here. Give me a hand, Detective. Let's get this thing moved.
We opened the door to the attic that was actually a joined door between two bedrooms. We observed a large pile of what appeared to be comforters, blankets. The first thing that we saw was a foot protruding from these blankets.
At that point, we knew that we had a homicide investigation that we had to start working on immediately.
I think we found Ms. Grosskopf. We're gonna need the ME out here.
It was a gruesome end to my life. I was stabbed 47 times.
When I got the news, I went into shock. I shut down. I became numb, and I couldn't believe it. There's no way. How could somebody do something like that to another human being, especially someone with such a huge heart? And I have to force the good memories to come in, because it's hard to get the bad out of your head.
When you have a stabbing, especially 47 times, that's generally a crime of passion, a fit of rage. So you look at that and think, this could be domestic violence. This could be some type of partner crime.
So I sent Detective Chamberlain and another detective down to interview Bobby Campbell, based on the fact that I knew Bobby's background, and I was suspicious of what Bobby Campbell was really doing at this house and why he was looking for her.
Honestly, truly do love Beth. But I'm not in love with her. I've never been in love with her. Beth and I were together for like 9.5 years. She's a comfortable person to be around, you know?
You guys were kind of like best friends? A little bit more than best friends.
We were very, very good friends. Extremely good friends. But every once in a while, I cross the guy line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When was the last time you actually talked to her?
Friday.
Friday.
Talking to the police, my ex tells quite a story about the day I disappeared.
Beth home?
Dude, I don't know, man. I haven't seen her. I'm just getting all my stuff.
Campbell shows up, and basically Elizabeth's not there at 11:30 in the morning on Tuesday. Ben's there by himself. Campbell says, "You got to go." He was stealing off of Elizabeth. Right before this, she told some other people where she worked, and Bobby Campbell was angry at Ben.
Well, hey! Then get your stuff and get out of here. And if Beth finds anything else missing, then I'm gonna come looking for you.
Yeah.
Campbell returns between 8 and 9 o'clock that night. Elizabeth isn't there. Her car's not there.
Robert tells the police that he didn't give up.
Beth!
Coming back the next morning to check up on me.
Change those locks. They really didn't expect my old keys to work. Beth! Kelly, what the hell are you doing?
I didn't think anybody would be here. Ben said I could come and get his car.
By coming in through the window?
Yeah, he said it was the only way to get the garage door opener.
Kelly Carter was supposed to pick up a vehicle from Ben Dennerline that he had purchased.
Ben's been evicted. I gotta find Beth.
Campbell told Carter that he evicted Dennerline from the home, but they both went into the house because Robert Campbell wanted to see if Beth was there.
Beth?
Oh, it smells funky.
Campbell, he was surprised the bed was made because Elizabeth rarely made the bed.
Hey, Ollie. Hey, baby. Where's Mama? You see Mama?
The dog was on the bed, and it was there. You know, I'm looking at it, you know.
The dog gets attracted to the blood, and Kid pulled the blanket back and revealed the blood.
Oh, my God.
I see the blood, I walk around the bed, and I'm looking at it. I said, there's lots of blood in there. And I said, Kelly, look, that's nothing. I said, I already touched it. He's like, oh, man, he goes, you shouldn't have touched it. And he's like, oh, man, he goes, I'm out of here.
At that point, we want to know why Kelly Carter disappeared. I want him found. So they did find him.
Hey, Kelly. Hey, I didn't. Oh, man. What are you messing with me for, man? Come on.
Leaving the scene of a crime, a murder, for one.
Oh, man. Oh, shut it, okay?
I told the detectives who were doing this, he's starting to make me really suspicious that there's more to his part than what we thought.
You have the right to remain silent?
Yeah.
Anything you say.
We think this guy is a killer.
To me, Kelly Carter is a frightening man. But is he capable of murder?
I'm not even here, Robbie. You know what I mean? You know, this is crazy. I left it. Robbie's calling 911. I left. You know that.
Murder. The police corner Kelly Carter and bring him in for questioning.
It turns out Elizabeth Grosskopf had inherited $30,000 plus, and Bobby Campbell was interested in it. And we didn't know if Kelly Carter would also have been interested in it, because these people all know each other. So they could have been conspiring together. They could have been acting alone. When we did catch up with them, Kelly Carter told us everything we needed to know.
And I saw someone in the table right there. I said, this doesn't look good, buddy. Where's that man? He goes, I don't know.
When we ask him, why didn't you stick around and talk to the police? Basically, it's he doesn't like the police.
But if they can't find Beth, you have to go find Beth. And that's the most important thing right now. What you have to do, right? Robbie's calling 911. I left. I know that.
He was not high on the list of suspects. There were other people with much higher motives as to why they would kill Beth Grosskopf.
So Robert is still the prime suspect. And not a stone's throw from him is his new wife, Karen.
So did you add your husband's name to the title of Beth's house?
With her permission, yes.
Rob was the beneficiary on her insurance policy at work as well as her retirement. Karen Babbage, she also was aware that her husband's name was on the deed of the house. She did have possible motive.
So you and Robert actually stood to get quite a lot of money if something was to happen to her.
Robert was with Beth for a decade. She didn't really have anyone else. We'll probably come into some money, but it's not how either of us wanted it.
Bobby Campbell was out to make money on Elizabeth dying. So it would have been worthwhile for Bobby and for Karen for Elizabeth to be dead.
During our interview with Mr. Campbell, he had mentioned not only a Kelly Carter, but he had mentioned Benjamin Dennerline.
There seemed to be an issue between Robert Campbell and Ben Dennerline. Dennerline was living and renting off of Elizabeth Grosskopf.
You think Dennerline might have skipped town?
Maybe.
Well, well, well. Check it out.
He stole off of Elizabeth. So Bobby Campbell was clearly angry at Dennerline.
Well, I'll be damned. Let's find him.
So our next step is to find Dennerline. That night, a veteran police officer went to the mall, drove up and down, spots Elizabeth's car.
Bingo.
And in her car is her purse, including her cell phone. Well, this police officer waits till Ben Dennerline and a young lady come walking out of the mall after a shopping spree.
Ben Dennerline, what's it to you? You're under arrest. Hands in the air, don't move. You have the right to remain silent.
And the officer takes them into custody.
So where were you May 11th between 10 and 11 p.m.?
Me and Colleen were watching the game.
And you were driving Ms. Grosskopf's car for the past 2 days? Is she okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, Beth lets me drive her car lots of times.
When was the last time you saw Beth?
I dropped her off for work. And I came by afterwards to pick her up, but she never showed. It's just like she vanished.
Well, I'm very sorry to have to tell you this, but we found Elizabeth. She's dead.
We informed him that Elizabeth was dead. He showed no emotion. He just looked at us and he just, okay.
She was your landlady. You said you two were friends and that you've known each other for a while. Thought you'd want to know.
Son, we're gonna need to check your alibi.
You can see that Mr. Dennerline became a little agitated to the point that he just told us, if you're gonna arrest me, arrest me. He said, but I only have to convince 12 people. Then he said, better yet, I only have to convince one person that I didn't do it. And I said, we'll see.
Son, I will bet my eye teeth you killed Beth Grosskopf. Now, we don't have enough to arrest you for it yet, but we found this old warrant for your arrest on file. That's enough to hold you till we do.
He had been on probation and had violated the terms of his probation by means of his drug use and other activity.
As they were putting the handcuffs on Ben and he was getting ready to go to jail on the violation, I told him, Ben, if you did this, that shopping spree you just went on was the last time you'll ever be free.
During part of the interview, Benjamin Dennerline had told the investigators that he was at home watching a Penguins hockey game with his girlfriend.
I was home watching the game Tuesday night.
So Ben was with you then?
No, Ben was here at the bar. He texted me about the game from here.
And that was about, what, 10, 11 p.m.?
Yeah, that's right.
Can I see your phone? I would like to check the text.
She had advised us that they, however, did not watch the hockey game together and quite frankly remembered texting one another during the game.
So his alibi turns out not to be true.
And then, the final shoe drops in the form of DNA evidence.
Did somebody say cha-ching?
Are you trying to tell me that DNA matches Robert Campbell? No. Dennerline.
Based on forensic analysis, there was blood that was believed to be Elizabeth Grosskopf found on Mr. Dennerline's pants. And there was a mixture of blood belonging to both Elizabeth and Benjamin Dennerline on the shoes and the jeans that he wore.
Ben Dennerline knew Beth's PIN number to her debit card. He had been in possession of her car and her cellular phones, giving gifts to various drug dealers. It was all very suspicious activity.
He wanted my inheritance to pay for a drug addiction I didn't even know he had.
Using the cellular phone tower information, we know that Mr. Dennerline was present in the home, actually during the time frame of the hockey game. Around 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock is the window where we thought that her death could have occurred.
What? Oh, Ben. What are you doing?
My theory is why Ben did the damage he did to Elizabeth is the fact that Ben needed those drugs at that point, and he would be willing to do anything. He probably wanted money from her, and she probably just said no.
Ben Dennerlein knew that if Beth was killed, that there was going to be someone else that the police would be looking at first, in Robert Campbell. So he knew that all he had to do was point the finger at Robert Campbell. He knew that Rob had a temper, as everyone else did.
Ben Dennerlein is found guilty of first-degree murder. Judge Dohanich sentenced him to life in prison. He's still there. He's still filing appeals, and they're still going nowhere.
Every time I hear anybody say Aunt Beth, I can't get out of my head what happened to her. That's where my mind goes, because it was so senseless and unnecessary. She didn't deserve that. Nobody does.
I always tried to help people in need. That's why I allowed Ben Dennerlein into my home. But he took advantage of my kindness in the most evil way imaginable when he betrayed me.